Coach Warner, after the delay, I'm right here to your left, just for kind of.
I'm bad at that.
That's all right. After the delay, you come out, you don't get the fourth down, but from that point forward, you guys went largely tempo, a pass-driven offense. Under the conditions, might have seemed counterintuitive. Why did you do that? Why did it work?
Well, I mean, Penn State's a great defense. We knew that coming in. I think our pass game has been picking up. I think Lewerke's been throwing the ball exceptionally well. That was successful for us in the first half. Going into the game, it wasn't necessarily let's go throw it all over the field. That was not our game plan. We had a good run game plan, but as we got going, pass game was working, and it's easy to stick with it.
For both of you, please, you've both been around football a long time. I've been coming to games here for 46 years. That was the smallest crowd, but probably the best. Would you guys comment about that crowd? No one sat down after the delay. It was this loud. Would you both talk about it, please?
I know it fired our guys up when they came out. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't huge, but they were loud. And our guys, when they ran out of the tunnel, not knowing if there's going to be a single fan there, there was a loud group of fans there, and it did fire our kids up. And you don't know what type of energy is going to happen after a 3-hour delay, but it brought extra. It brought extra juice, and we appreciate it.
There was more people that came back than I expected, to be honest with you. And as Tress said, they were very loud, and they had an impact. So we appreciate that.
Dave, familiar. Center field. Lewerke's got 845 yards in his past 2 games. What's clicking for him right now in the passing game in general? How have you had this kind of success in the past couple of weeks?
I think it's a full team effort. Obviously, he has grown as the season has gone on, but so has our offensive line, and so has our receivers. So I think it's for sure Brian's been doing a great job throwing the ball around, been very accurate. But I think he's had pretty good protection for the most part. Nothing's ever perfect. And I think our receivers are growing as well. So they're running good routes, getting open, they're getting on the same page. So I think it's everybody involved in the offense.
Mike, over here. Obviously, you guys, Saquon Barkley is a huge focal point. For the most part, you guys do a pretty good job of containing him. Just talk about that defense being able to kind of fight through some of the issues, the things that happen in a tough game when Josiah trips on the play. And big plays are coming, but the fact that they were able to fight through and get it done at the end.
Yeah, the biggest thing, and probably the thing we're most proud of is we know we'll face adversity, and obviously that's a big piece of adversity right there, and the guys responded, and there was no hanging of heads on the sidelines. And you know what? We gave up a lot of passing yards, but we did hold Saquon down a little bit in his total yardage, and 3 sacks and 3 interceptions. So I think the completion percentage went down the second half, still gaining yards, but we made some big plays too. We made some big plays when they were passing.
Mike, speaking about Saquon a little more, what was kind of the focal point in being able to slow him down?
It's always stopped the run for us, so we feel like just needed to swarm because he's a guy that can make somebody miss. And honestly, last week we missed a couple tackles, and the second, third, fourth hit, rat-a-tat-tat, weren't there like they need to be. So we had a real swarm mentality. But there wasn't big game plan changes to stop the run. That's what we do. We just knew as the passing happened, and we needed to slow down a little bit and make some big plays in the passing game, even if they're gaining yards.
Dave, when you look, you mentioned about the receivers. I mean, can you talk a little bit about what Felton did in terms of making some of those big catches, and also Hunter with a couple big catches either on the sideline or a couple shoe tip grabs for those guys that really kept drives moving?
Yeah, I think I think those guys have matured. I think there's a confidence level between quarterback and wide receiver that always is very important. Those guys being on the same page, and I think. Hopefully we're at that point now where those guys are on the same page, and it doesn't just happen overnight, and I think we're hopefully getting there. But those guys have made big plays. They've made big plays throughout the season. But to make those plays in a big game like this is a feather in their hat.
You could have raised a family of 3 during that delay. But Brian Allen actually said he took a nap in the shower. What were the coaches doing? You can't talk strategy for 4 hours, can you?
No. I mean, there's only so much you can do with players out there. And really, we didn't change a whole lot. We just, talked about what we've done up to that point, what's been successful, what direction we needed to go, which was basically continue with our game plan. Again, no real changes there. Now, they adjusted a little bit of their blitz packages that we've adjusted to a little bit. But as far as the plays and our game plan, it just was moving along. But that took, I don't know how long we were down there, a half hour maybe, within the locker room. And then all of a sudden we get the word that it's a 2-hour delay minimum. So then bang, pads come off and everybody just sort of scatters and relaxes. Same. Scatter and relax. Watch whatever was on, watch an Iowa game, I guess, a little bit.
Back left here, guys. You guys have had tons of big wins here, but all things considered, we get to talk to Coach a little bit about it more, but all things considered, how big is this win in your guys' opinion, given everything that's transpired?
Well, at this moment, it feels like the biggest, and it should right after the game. But the bottom line is you want to be in position in the month of November to be in the race. You say November's for contenders, and we knew we held the cards in our hands, and this is the first one. And it feels good right now. We know we got another huge one next week, but 4 for the month of November. We know that's where we're at, and this one's huge.
Mike, David Dowell wasn't a starter at the beginning of the year. 2 big interceptions against Michigan, 2 gigantic plays today. What's clicked for him?
It is great to see him make plays, and it's great to see a guy's confidence grow when they make plays, because sometimes it's not all of a sudden a new technique or all of a sudden a new scheme that puts him in position to make plays. It's the confidence to go get it. And now he feels like, I'm going to attack this football, and he attacked the football, and it was awesome.
Mike, along those same lines, Matt Coughlin didn't have a field goal attempt until really, 3 games in, 4 games in, and he comes up with 2, probably the biggest field goals here in quite a while, probably at least since Geiger's last time at Ohio State. But what have you seen from him to allow him to proceed under pressure for situations like that?
We felt really good, to be honest with you. We had great faith in him. We knew distance wasn't going to be an issue. He's hit the ball really well this year. Even, his couple misses last week, he hit them square. Yeah, they hit the upright, but they weren't tailing off. They weren't hooks. He hit them square. And we feel real good with where he's at, and he's a confident kid. So I think the sidelines was confident at that point.
Dave, forgive me if you answered this before I got in, but what have you seen from Brian from week-to-week progress? It seems like, there are some throws even off his back foot he made. Just a lot of kind of playmaking throws, more so than before, and confidence the receivers being there. What have you seen from him and from that receiving group, just in terms of growth?
We did talk about it a little bit, but I think it's a team effort offensively. I think there's a confidence level between our receivers now that they're gaining experience. Now that Brian's gaining experience, I think they're starting to mesh, be on the same page. There's no, I thought you were doing this, and I did that. None of that's going on for the most part. So I think it's just a maturity level with our youth on offense. And Brian's done a great job of, the plays he's making in addition to that are him scrambling around with his feet and throwing the ball down the field. And he's done that all along, and obviously did a couple big times today.